Yeah, do I say to them, if people at your level have this type of thoughts, you can imagine what less knowledgeable people will be saying. So there'll be a whole lot of factors that militate against the advocacy and the advocates. But we will keep believing that one day more voices will rise to speak for.
Now, why I look at end SARS period, human rights desk coming up. So I would have been thinking that the advocacy from the human rights community will be having a synergy with the police, so that once the human rights community appear there, they will understand that this matter can be resolved here and now, and not giving you the same police attitude. But not to take anything away from you, I think we will find enough about human rights without going to the impact. So there's an open invitation. You said almost every 2 weeks you are tied up. So look for one of the 2 weeks that you'll be free and bring you back here.
It's all right.
Thank you very much, Onyedika.
It's my pleasure. Thank you very
It's
much.
my pleasure, actually. It's been great.
Thank you very much.
And I'm saying thank you again to Onyedika Chiagbo for coming on and for telling us that with knowledge, a lot of human rights problems will be a thing of the past. As I say, thank you for watching us today on Southeast News. Join us tomorrow. We'll be back. Barry Kumado was my name. Thank you again.
so worst because the situation on ground is unbearable for the common man. If you move around now, you look at people are stranded. The cost of transportation between just yesterday and today has skyrocketed over 100% to 150%. So, and it's making things very difficult because the economy is already harsh, and with the increase in pump price, it's making things very difficult for people to move around. If the price of fuel is affordable, the driver will not have choice. If one person even want to try and maybe take advantage of other Nigerians, there will be some other people that have the interest of the common man at heart, and they will just do what? They will carry the vehicle at the reduced price, that they will still make gains to take home and to take care of themselves also.
From all the way from Mandala to here is 1,500 naira. And even when we are going back now, the same price they will tell you. Early morning, every morning, I come out in Dankogi, Zuba, to enter motor to come to Bega. Each car you stop, they will be calling 15, 12, 13. And before I will be able to get the one that will take me down here, it will make me to come to my market late. So I really need government to know what to do about this issue of fuel, because I believe by the time the fuel is down, the price is down, every other things will be down, and so things are very, very difficult and hard for us. Many people are dying because of hunger.
The cost of transportation in Nigeria is worrisome. In fact, it's very, very worrisome because as it is right now, daily the cost of transportation is rising. And the places we used to go before without, with our car, we have dropped our private car, joining the private public transport. And yet it's not still convenient for us. So it's very worrisome.
It's not nice because we've been coming 1,000 naira from Buhari to Bega. Today is 1,500. So suddenly 500 naira increase. And I think if now I'm supposed to reschedule it 2 days in a week.
The price of from here now to that place is 1,500. So you see everywhere the bus of people are just there hanging out, and the price of things is very high. And even price of commodity to buy things, not to talk of transportation, everything is now high in Nigeria. So we don't even know what to do. But now I'm not seeing any light, because what is happening now is that the situation is getting more critical, and we don't even know what will be the next thing.
The prices of things have gone up. From here to Madela now is 400 naira in the government bus, but private buses are one. So everything is going up every day, and we don't know what to do. The government policy is skew. It favors the rich rather than the poor man. The middleman is deteriorating, going down every day. The poorer one are becoming more poorer than. And I don't have money to go back. So even you journalists can give me money, I will even accept it so that I can go back to my...
The high level or increase of unemployment is individuals' fault. Majority of the people blames it on the government. Because I look at it that majority of us went to school to study how to be employed and not to become employers. You understand what I'm saying now? So a situation whereby you are being programmed. But I am trying to tell us that if you went to the school to acquire knowledge and put the knowledge into work.
High level of unemployment in Nigeria is alarming. Like, it's mind-blowing. It keeps getting worse by the day. Like, people are getting unemployed on a daily basis. You see students graduating from school, like no work, no job. So I won't say it's anybody's fault. Individuals have to put in effort to mitigate it. Then government, it is their duty to make sure that there is a way that...
Already know that there are no jobs out there. So why then do we depend or lean on getting white-collar jobs when there are none? The federal government is not doing anything to help us and to to give there outside the country. Definitely there are jobs there where you be able to fetch money for yourself and fend for your family. But here, it is well.
High level of unemployment. Obviously, is on the leadership now. Unemployment. Obviously, is on the leadership now. It's very, very.
I believe the high level of unemployment is basically, let's say, the government, because first off, the government isn't providing enough opportunities, both in learning opportunities and job opportunities. So even get a chance to start from somewhere. People are actually sidelining you because
Welcome to Global News on Signature Television. I'm Charles Pius. In the headlines, President Bola Tinubu orders restoration of electricity in northern Nigeria. Federal government plans Migration Command Center to secure back-to-back trophies. Details shortly. Bola Tinubu has expressed concern over the blackout in the northern region of Nigeria over the weekend not to relent and bring in immediate relief to the people who need the electricity to sustain their social and economic activities. To ensure the restoration work, Army and Air Force to deploy adequate security personnel, including aerial cover, to protect the engineers who are fixing the damaged transmission line. He expressed dismay over reports of vandalism and willful destruction of power infrastructure and other public assets that caused the unfortunate blackout and implored traditional rulers, community leadership. The leader of the New Nigeria's People's Party, Senator Rabiu Kwankwaso, on Monday in Kano emphasized that it was about time Nigeria explores alternative power sources to address the energy needs. He said this while speaking on persistent blackouts in northern Nigeria, where he emphasized on the need to exploit the abundant resources of the country towards generating a lot of more reliable and multiple sources of energy rather than depending on the existing diminishing source of energy supply. Depends on the inadequate and aged energy resources. He expressed worry that many parts of the northern part of the country are in total darkness due to vandalism on the important 330 kV Shiroro-Kaduna power line that supplies the state of Kano and Kaduna, and another line that supplies Bauchi, Gombe, and other parts of the northeast. The situation, he added, has been further compounded by the high cost of petrol and diesel in the country, which has currently plunged homes into darkness and forced factories to shut down. Police Inspector Uzonwanji Joseph, implicated in the murder of Ogene musician Chikeze Okeze Nwamba, has been dismissed from Nigeria. The police on Monday, it said that the officer was found culpable and summary DSP Daniel Ndukwe. According to him, the orderly room trial of Uzonwanji has been concluded and the inspector was found culpable and received the maximum penalty of dismissal, followed by court prosecution in line with the Police Act and Regulations 2020. A young man identified as Oluebube Elom from Ebonyi State was arrested by the local vigilante group on Monday for stealing a speaker and a fan at St. Joseph Catholic Church, Thinkers Corner, ENUGU. According to the suspects, he came to the church premises around 2 p.m. on Sunday through the back side of the church, broke into the church, carting away the fan and speaker used for worship in the church. According to him, he sold the fan to a man whose name was not mentioned. He was later arrested by the security men in the area on Monday morning while trying to steal another equipment in the church. In the course of the interview with Signature TV, Oluebube blames the action that one of the challenges they are facing carrying out their duties effectively is the lack of arms needed to do the job. He pleaded with the government and the well-meaning individuals living in the area to come to their aid. A senior lecturer in the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, UNN, Professor Ugwejiofo Ujam, has been abducted along the Ugwogonike-Opinsuka Road. Ugwejiofo is the Dean, School of General Studies of the university. A lecturer who spoke to our correspondent under anonymity confirmed the incident, which was also posted on the WhatsApp page of the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, UNN chapter. There have been concerns over the spate of abductions along the Ugwogo-Opinsuka Road despite the number of police and military checkpoints along that axis. The hoodlums were also reported to have abducted several other road users on a daily basis in the last 1 week. However, the Police Public Relations Officer of ENUGU State's Police Command, DSP Daniel Ndukwe, was yet to comment as at the time of filing this report. Governor Francis Nwifuru has enlisted 100 citizens for the second tranche of 2 months intensive agricultural and entrepreneurship training under the Francis Nwifuru Empowerment Program, with the participants getting 3 million naira startup funds each. By the Commissioner for Human Capital Development stated this in Abakaliki while declaring open the training. In a bid to cement the successes recorded in the first tranche of Francis Nwifuru Empowerment Program, another batch has been enrolled for the same program aimed at raising individuals with the capacity to be employers of labor and self-reliance.
By the time you finish your training, he will empower you with the money to start up those businesses. His Excellency, the Governor, really means business. And any time he promises anything, he fulfills it. He will come 2027, all the youths in Ebonyi State, both the women, both the men, will be smiling and we must have raised.
For the beneficiaries, the various empowerment programs of the state government are not yet just mere rhetorics, but pragmatic approaches towards tackling unemployment and hunger.
Having to be part of the FONEP training is going to help me know more about agriculture, to help me know more so many sectors.
After being trained, I will make sure that I will put it into practice in order to be
we not only empower us as a person, but DP and also the state and the Nigeria at large.
The 100 beneficiaries that will be camped as Master Skills Acquisition Training Center Amani ENUGU, whose welfare for the 2 months training are already catered for by the state government, will also be given 100,000 naira each as pocket money for the 2 months. The Nigerian Police Force, NPF, on Monday said it is investigating the assault of a cab driver, Stephen Abuwasaye, by a member of the House of Representatives from Abia State, Alexander Mascot Ikweche. NPF warned the public against using the name of the office of the Inspector General of Police to threaten others during altercations. Ikweche had reportedly threatened to make the cab driver disappear during the assault. According to the video of the incident shared on X by former chairman of the National Human Rights Commission, Chidi Odinkalu, the rep member also threatened to beat up the cabman and lock him up in his generator house. Reacting, the Nigerian Police Force posted on its X handle, the Nigerian Police Force is aware of the incident between the boat driver, Stephen Abuwasaye, and Honorable Alexander. To the statement, the FCT command is actively handling the case following Abuwasaye's official report at the Maitama Divisional Headquarters. Has set up a high-level peace and reconciliation committee to mediate on the resolve the lingering crisis between the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory FCT, Nyesom Wike, and Governor Similaye Fubara of Rivers State. In a communique issued at the end of its special General Assembly meeting held in Port Harcourt weekend, Pandev said that the Reconciliatory Committee is also saddled with the responsibility of nipping in the bud all disputes and conflicts within the area. The Reconciliation Committee, which is headed by Obong Victor Atta, co-chairman, Pandev BOT, has Senator Emmanuel Ibok Essien, former Senate Whip, Senator Roland Ovier, Senator Stella Omu, former Deputy Governor of the Bayelsa State, Rear Admiral G. John Joner, Pam Oga, and Dr. Stella Dogu as members. Though the political quagmire between former Rivers State's Governor Wike and Fubara was not added in the communique, but when Pandev's spokesperson was asked if it was part of the mandate, he said in the text that Wike and Fubara are not members of the committee, but the mandate of the committee includes reconciling their conflict. Wike and Fubara have been at loggerheads since the latter assumed office as governor in 2023, just as Fubara had said that his rift with Wike is tied to the tussle over power and control in Rivers State. The Cold War between the duo had continued despite President Bola Tinubu and other relevant stakeholders' intervention. The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, says Abuja will look different by the time in the country. Wike stated this at the inauguration of the upgrading of Ward College, Army 15 projects currently ongoing, and called on those who doubt the achievements of Tinubu-led administration to challenge that some months. Wike added that beyond the road infrastructure, the Tinubu-led government had signed a memorandum of understanding with a Chinese company to provide potable water in Kwali, Wawalada and Kuje area councils, and urged the residents of FCT to support the Tinubu administration to do more for the people. The pressure on the Naira in the foreign exchange market and the removal of fuel subsidy have impacted the earlier federal projections for completing ongoing road projects across Nigeria. Minister of Works David Umahi disclosed this in the project seeking both internal and external sources, including loans due to his commitments to improving Nigeria's quality of life. The minister also highlighted the looming consequences for Julius Berger if he fails to mobilize to the site by the end of the 7-day ultimatum set to expire on Wednesday, stating that negotiations between the ministry and the contractor spanned 17 months and that it was time for definitive action. The governors of Abia and Akwa Ibom, Alex Oti and Umo Eno, has agreed to collaborate on repairing critical roads connecting their states to improve accessibility and strengthen economic ties between their communities. In a statement released in Uyo, the understanding was reached during Oti's condolence visits to Governor Eno at Government House following the passing of Eno's wife, Patience Umo Eno. Governor Eno expressed appreciation for Oti's support, noting that his late wife left enduring legacies during her life, federal intervention on the Ikotekpene Aba Road and repair the deteriorated sections of the Inia Arochukwu Road. Still to come, Lagos sets for World Travel Market. APC inaugurates 305-member campaign council for Ondo elections. Do stay with us. Established an irregular migration command and control center to curb the illegal entry of foreigners into the country. The Minister of Interior, Olubunmi Tunji-Ojo, announced this on Monday during focusing on data analysis, travel plan assessment, and specific skill sets in collaboration with other agencies and facilitators. Meanwhile, the Lagos State Commissioner for Tourism, Arts and Culture, Mrs. Toke Benson Awoyika, has expressed the state's readiness to showcase and market its tourism sites to the global audience at the World Travel Market, WTM. Benson Awoyika said this following a meeting with Mrs. Bolaji Mustafa, National President, Nigerian Association of Tour Operators, NATOP, on Monday in Lagos. Benson Awoyika noted that the initiative of marketing Lagos tourism and cultural offerings at such laudable platform was a welcome idea. She appreciated the tour operators as she supplied some of the advertorial materials. The World Travel Market is to hold from November 5th to 7th at Excel, London, United Kingdom. Responding, National President of NATOP also expressed the association's readiness to market Lagos as a choice destination for tourism at the WTM. According to her, no fewer than 50 tour operators will be attending the global event. Mustafa noted that each of the members would explore exposing Lagos tourism offerings, including its rich cultural heritage, sites, stunning natural landscapes, vibrant entertainment, life, as well as historic landmarks and monuments. She explained that NATOP has always taken pleasure in protecting or projecting local tourism sites for improved patronage. Executive Director, the Kuka Center, TKC, Ata Barkindo, has urged governments at all levels to increase their commitment to renewable energy in the country. Barkindo stated this on Monday at a Nigerian multi-faith national dialogue on Al-Hibabiyya Islamic Society and Green Faith Africa. According to Barkindo, Nigeria had relied on fossil fuels for over 60 years as the cornerstone of its economy, as the wealth derived from oil had stripped the political landscape, funded infrastructure, and failed Nigeria's development. He stated that the impact of the extractive industry were not limited to the physical environment, as the country had witnessed the displacement of communities, deepening inequality, and erosion of livelihoods. He further stated that the dependence on fossil fuel and stunted diversification industry had been witnessed at different levels and urged the Nigerian government to increase its commitments to renewable energy by prioritizing investment, offering incentives, and expanding supportive policies for solar and wind projects. The Speaker of the House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas, has called on relevant stakeholders in the country to make deliberate efforts to involve more women in critical decision-making, particularly national legislative dialogue on women and the constitutional amendments process in Nigeria, organized by the House of Representatives Committee on Constitution Review. According to the Speaker, the goal of the 10th House is to ensure that Nigerian women, who are essential parts of the nation's social and economic fabric, secure their rightful place within the country's governance framework. He added that around the world, especially in Africa, there is encouraging examples of gender inclusion as exemplified in Rwanda, with over 60% women representation in its parliament. Abbas added that South Africa, Namibia, and Senegal have all taken significant strides towards inclusivity, reshaping the political landscape in ways Nigeria can learn from due to their profound impact, perspectives on governance and development. Meanwhile, the All Progressives Congress, APC, on Monday inaugurated a 305-member National Campaign Council for the November 16th governorship elections in Ondo State. The Lagos State Governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, is the chairman of the campaign council, while Governor Nasir Idris of Kebbi State is the deputy chairman of the committee. Inaugurating the campaign council in Akure, the national chairman of APC, Alhaji Abdullahi Ganduje, noted that the President Bola Tinubu is from the region. Therefore, the party must mobilize and ensure Ondo State remained in the Progressives fold. The chairman of the campaign council, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, in his acceptance speech, appreciated all former aspirants for turning up in the large numbers to support the party's candidate. Sanwo-Olu said that he was backing from stakeholders during a public hearing held on Monday. At the hearing, Senator Kaka Lawan, APC Borno Central, said the bill's sponsor highlighted that the proposed university will be the first of its kind in Africa due to its focus on agriculture and entrepreneurship to address the country's high unemployment rate and reliance on white-collar jobs. He added that according to a global youth unemployment index, Nigeria has an astronomical 53% youth unemployment rate, placing it second only to South Africa, which has 61% youth unemployment. Kaka described entrepreneurship education as a vital form of filling a statement. UNICEF has urged Zamfara governments to increase the proposed budgetary allocation to health and education sectors in its 2025 appropriation, which was between 7 and 12% in 2024 to about 15 to 20% in the proposed 2025 budget, so as to meet the health and education needs of children in the state. According to Juma, education should be a giving priority in the state, considering the high number of out-of-school children in the state. He noted that Zamfara is one of the states where children are experiencing multiple their potentialities and become more productive to the society. In a bid to arm women with the necessary skills and knowledge to maximize scarce resources occasioned by the present economic downturn, Women Chamber of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture, WOSIMA, organized a roundtable conference on financial literacy in Abakaliki. In an effort to surmount the harsh economic realities of the moment and impart women with the necessary knowledge to be financially prudent, the roundtable conference availed participants the optimal knowledge to earn, save, spend, invest.
Please go back to your banks, tell them, this account I have, so this account I have, what is the interest on it? Ask them, what are the different savings accounts you have in the bank? Because each one, you study it so that you make an informed decision for yourself about how to spend that money.
For the organizers and participants, the conference is expected to equip them with the financial literacy needed to make informed.
Appreciating the concept of financial literacy, it will play a great role in how we manage our individual incomes and reduce the accumulation of debt. It will also help us in the reduction of expenses through better planning and regulation. Therefore, we will be less financial stress and anxiety.
We acknowledge that the result will invariably be confidence in business and independence from financial services.
The training will encourage us and able to have the capacity to down tune the incapacitation that is in our life and then enhance the one that is being we are looking for.
The roundtable conference on financial literacy with the theme Building Confidence and Independence also featured the issues in social and economic development of the old Eastern region and refocusing the media towards development's journalism were on the front burner at the just concluded workshop for the editors and media executives at Owerri, Imo State. Signature TV correspondent Ndo Baleze also reports that the many viewers of state-owned newspapers came under focus with survival strategies espoused.
A former managing editor of Sun newspapers, Tony Onyema, after identifying poor government funding, inefficient management, and undue government interference as bogging down the government-owned newspapers, advocated what he called creative disruptions in their business models. Onyema said governments of the South Matters situation, adding that total digital migration holds the key to their survival.
The strategy of online is totally different from this. If you go and check New York Times. New York Times is always my model because in 19 words, I decided instead of paying ticket to go to America to look at skyscrapers, one of those my vacations, I just wrote to them, they agreed. I went there and worked with them for 2 weeks. I was shocked. I came back totally diminished that we are not doing anything yet. Today, New York Times migrated. They are making so much money online than they were doing previously. I subscribe to New York Times on phone. From my phone here, I will read it. And you pay. They give you window of 1 week.
Turn to the development blueprint of the old Eastern region. Ibin, who was represented by Ikechukwu Amechi, regretted that insecurity and unpatriotic running of states have left most lofty ideas unrealized for many decades.
Despite multiple promises, the coastal rail line and road remain incomplete, undermining regional connectivity. Lessons from past rail line and road remain incomplete, undermining regional connectivity. Lessons from past development.
Leaders, what they call it, I'm sure it is seven common name. The PG, President General, everybody, heads. This is part of your
information about International Convention on the Rights of the Information, about International Convention on the Rights of the Child and its implications for the exercise of independent journalism. Media organizations should regard violation of the rights of the child and issues related to children's safety, privacy, security, their education, health, and social.
Earlier, the president of Nigeria Guild of Editors, Eze Anaba, had reiterated his call on development partners to focus more attention on the myriad of challenges in the Southeast and South-South geopolitical zones, adding that insecurity and non-delivery of democracy dividends render the inhabitants most vulnerable. Juliet Chuliwe, in charge of UNICEF ENUGU office, however, said the inhabitants most vulnerable. Juliet Chuliwe, in charge of UNICEF ENUGU office, however, explained that UNICEF interventions are data-driven. There were a 2-day capacity-building workshop for editors and media executives.
There are indications that the local currency is set to fully reverse its gains as the depreciation trend ends at the close of market NAFEM, as dealers speculate that the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, would likely intervene any moment from now to curtail the pressure on the exchange rate. Data from FMDQ showed that the indicative exchange rate for NAFEM have wiped out the gains it made in March this year, when it suddenly appreciated massively, climbing down from an all-time high rate of 1,820 down to 1,240 to a dollar. Analysts and dealers have blamed seeing the problem differently. At the last Monetary Policy Committee meeting, the governor of the CBN, Yemi Cardoso, who doubles as the MPC chairman, states that the members of the MPC had noticed a correlation between the period of FAAC disbursement and pressures in the foreign exchange market. According to him, the Apex Bank will monitor future FAAC allocation disbursements to determine the impact. Thousands of protesters gather outside Georgian Parliament after disputed election. Do stay with us. Welcome back. You're watching Global News with Charles. President Joe Biden on Monday cast his ballots in the U.S. presidential election, voting early in this hometown of Delaware for Democratic Vice President Kamala Harris in her race against Republican Donald Trump. Americans who can vote before next Tuesday's polling day, he cast his votes at an early voting site in Newcastle, Delaware. Biden was asked about the Trump campaign event in New York's Madison Square Garden on Sunday, where a comedian employed racist tropes about various minority groups in the United States.
It's simply embarrassing. It's beneath any president, but that's what we're getting used to. That's why this election is so important. You know, most of the presidential scholars I've spoken to talk about the single most consequential thing about a president's character. And he puts that in question every time he opens his mouth. My staff is talking to them right now. I'm going to get out here, get in a secure line, and follow up on that. We need a ceasefire. We should end this war. It should end, it should end, it should end.
The Trump campaign itself said the comments did not reflect Trump's views. Trump has not commented on the comedian's performance, though he has himself leaned into racist and sexist rhetoric on the campaign trail. The European Union on Monday urged Georgia to swiftly and transparently investigate alleged irregularities in its elections on Saturday. The results of Saturday's election are a blow for pro-Western Georgians who had cast the votes as a choice between a ruling party that has deepened ties with Russia and an opposition aiming to fast-track integration with Europe. The ruling Georgian Dream Party clinched nearly 54% of the votes, according to the country's election commission. However, monitors from the Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe said they had registered incidents of vote buying, vote intimidation, and ballot stuffing that could have affected the outcome, but they stopped short of saying the election was rigged.
We are following closely the developments upon the parliamentary elections in Georgia that took place on Saturday. You would have seen that the High Representative and the European Commission published yesterday an initial reaction. Here we have made it clear that the EU expects the Georgian Central Election Commission and other relevant authorities to fulfill their duties, to swiftly, transparently and independently investigate and adjudicate electoral irregularities and allegations thereof. Those irregularities must be clarified and addressed.
Thousands of protesters gathered on Monday outside the Georgian parliament after the country's president and opposition parties called for protests against the results of a Saturday election they said was rigged. The protesters took to streets after the country's president Salome to the nation on Sunday.
We are here to defend our country's European future because we've been fighting for our freedom. And
President said and other leaders of politics.
That we can show Europe choice. That we can show Europe choice. We choose opposition. We choose coalition. We choose opposition. We choose coalition in our government, and we did not choose Georgian dream. It's not our choice.
The country's government and electoral commission have said the votes was free and fair, while election observers have said there were significant violations. Meanwhile, British anti-Muslim activist Stephen Zazley-Lennon, known by the pseudonym after he was successfully sued for libel. Zazley-Lennon projectiles that were fired from Lebanon on Monday with wide trails of smoke could be seen in the sky above the Israeli-Lebanese border. An Israeli army spokesman tells. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said on Monday that he hopes to reach peace deals with more Arab countries once the war against Iranian proxies Hamas and Hezbollah is complete. Netanyahu said in a speech in Parliament that he aspires to continue the process he led a few years ago of the signing of the historic Abraham Accords and achieve peace with additional Arab countries, that could impact its work in war-torn Gaza. The lawmakers who drafted the law cited the involvement of some UNRWA staffers in the October 7, 2023 attack on southern Israel and for staffers having membership in Hamas and other armed groups. The legislation has alarmed the United Nations and some of Israel's Western allies who fear it would further worsen the already dire humanitarian situation in Gaza, where Israel has been fighting Hamas militants for a year. The ban does not refer to operations in the Palestinians, employs tens of thousands of workers, and provides education, health, and aid to millions of Palestinians in Gaza, the West Bank, Jordan, Lebanon, and Syria. It has all long had tense relations with Israel, but ties have deteriorated sharply since the start of disbanded, with its responsibilities transferred to other UN agencies. The UN said in August that the 9 UNRWA staff may have been involved in the October 7 assault and had been fired. A Hamas commander in Lebanon, killed last month in an Israeli strike, was found to have had an UNRWA job. Another commander killed in Gaza last week doubled as an aid worker.
UNRWA is an organization that a terrorist organization has completely taken over it. Hospital, clinics, and headquarters in order
who lives in Israel. Therefore, when it comes to water, services will be given. When it comes to health, services will be given, even better services. And when it comes to education, maybe it's about time that the kids in Jerusalem